again, everyone. I'm John Cranton. Welcome to the Las Vegas Sports Services NBA Weekly Report. I'm in here in Las Vegas, joined by Jeff Saad of L.V.S.S. It's the NBA All-Star break, so we'll take a look at some teams coming out of the break, mainly teams that don't care, teams that might want to pack it in. We got some trivia for you. But first, Jeff Saad, been red hot. Look at some of these numbers that Jeff has been on this week. 5-2 with all plays on Wednesday, a perfect 3-0 in the NBA. He had a 3-1 Tuesday, a 4-1 Monday, 18-5-1 run in the NBA. That's 78%. 18-10-1 in college, as well as 3-1 in conference games of the year. Jeff, what's the total run of those games, and how can folks get aboard your red hot run?
Well, since February 4th, I'm 39-16-2 at 71% NBA and college. That breaks down to 19-5-1 in the NBA, 79%, 20-11-1 in college, 65%. That's through Thursday. And so I'm going to give everybody a chance to get on board. You're going to play through June NBA and college for $49. That will include another college conference game of the year on Saturday. I'm 3-1 with conference games of the year. And this is going to go for 4 months, a total of only $49, all the Players Edge winners. And all you have to do is call L.V.S.S. at 1-866-575-8916, 1-866-575-8916.
All right, be sure and take aboard a red-hot handicapper with Jeff, that special offer. Before we get into the teams that are kind of might be dogs coming out of the All-Star break, let's take a look at some of the top teams simply because of what happened right before the All-Star break. That was that Oklahoma City game. 5-point home favorite, a revenge spot against Miami, and they just laid an egg, giving up 110 points. I was surprised that they played so poorly in that game. Here is the NBA futures for the second half of the season. There's only one team in the East, that's the Miami Heat on this list at 7-4. Then you got three teams in the West, the Spurs 5-1, Clippers 5-1, and the Oklahoma City Thunder at 3-1. Jeff, you think it's the Heat all the way in the East, and you think Oklahoma City is for real in the West, and should they have been favored against Miami?
I was really surprised that the Heat were getting 5 points on Thursday night. With the way they've been playing, they won 6 in a row. They're shooting the lights out. LeBron's shooting 70%. They'd beaten the Thunder 5 times in a row. They were getting 5 points. Obviously, it was a 5-star play for me on the Heat, and I was just couldn't believe that line. But it worked out for me because I had an easy play on the Heat. For the NBA Finals, I would still pick the Heat and the Thunder for a rematch. I wouldn't say the Spurs. Spurs could have the same problem they had last year. They had a tremendous regular season. Popovich rested his players, did everything right. Then they hit the playoffs and get stopped cold by the Thunder. And now the players are a year older. I don't see anything different this year. The only team I think in the West that could challenge the Thunder right now is the Clippers, if they stay healthy. If Chris Paul stays healthy, right now they have so much depth, especially as opposed to last year. Chauncey Billups is back, Ron Butler's back. So the Clippers could be the team to give the Thunder a run in the West. But from my prediction in the NBA Finals, I think it's going to be a rematch. I think it's going to be the Heat and the Thunder again.
Yeah, one thing that bothers me about Oklahoma City in that 110-100 loss to Miami, they were outscored 31-22, or I should say they outscored Miami 31-22 in the fourth. So the game wasn't even that close after 3 quarters, down 19 points. And then the comments by Kendrick Perkins after the game, he said, hey, you don't win titles in February. Well, sure, that's true, but, Kendrick, you didn't win it in June either when you were up 1-0 on the exact same team when you had everything in your favor. Things that bother me with Oklahoma City is Scotty Brooks, when other teams, even like Miami, challenge him by going small ball, saying, hey, run with us, he won't do that. I think he's below average as a game manager. And then when Kendrick Perkins is in the game, it's basically 4 and 5 with the opposition double teaming someone like Durant or Westbrook and laying off Perkins. And, he's supposed to be this defensive stopper and rebounder, which he is. But look at the game against Miami the other night. 8 points, 5 rebounds. And when Perkins was on the floor, it was minus 14 for the Heat. That was second worst on the Heat as far as points to Serge Ibaka. So there's some weaknesses that they have to work on if they're going to be a power again in the Western Conference in the playoffs. Okay, coming out of the All-Star break, everybody's focused on the top teams. Let's take a look at some teams that may roll over and play dead, teams that might be good to go against coming out of the break. Any teams you see that have some significant problems?
Well, the Phoenix Suns, obviously, the team's a disaster. I think they're just waiting for the draft right now. They didn't expect much coming into the season, but it's even worse than they thought. I think Coach Alvin Gentry is probably glad he got out. They're 5-23 on the road. They're the second worst team in the league in field goal defense. They're blown out by the Thunder twice in 3 days. In the second game, they scored a total of 69 points. What a difference from several years ago with the Phoenix Suns scoring 69 points. They lost the last 4 games by an average of 102 to 84. I would say the Phoenix Suns are definitely a go against team the rest of the season, John.
Yeah, one team I'll throw out there to have a word of caution with, and that's the Chicago Bulls. They play hard for this coach. They play the great defense and rebounding, and they've overachieved a lot. But I would say watch them very carefully coming out of the All-Star break for a couple of reasons. One, the offense just isn't that good. They don't have a lot of scoring options, and we've been waiting all season for Derrick Rose to return. And now some words came out that even Rose admitted I might not even be back for this season because he's coming back from that ACL injury. And I wonder about the psyche of the Bulls, if that is going to be a kick in the gut to them. Because last year in the playoffs, Rose got hurt in the very first game. That was against Philadelphia. They won that game with him. But the next 5 games, they lost 4 of the next 5, and they had no offensive options, and it was a disappointing performance. So that's a team that they may want to go against. They're certainly a good under team, but I wonder about their psyche as a go-against team over the next couple of weeks as we hear more and more about Rose. Jeff, any other teams that stand out that might be go-against or rolling over?
Well, the Pistons are another team. They're another team that's just waiting for the season to end, and they've got some injuries too. So I would say the Pistons are another one. If you look at all the bad teams in the league, especially in the East, there's some really bad, like the Magic. Those are teams that you might just want to just lay off or either lay off or go against because at the rest of the season they don't have a lot to play for, and some of these teams won't admit it, but they're better off getting a better chance in the lottery the more games they lose.
Yeah, the Orlando Magic, that's another team that I would focus on, or should I say go against. There's really very little that's positive about this team. They're 24th in the NBA in scoring, 20th in points allowed, no Dwight Howard, so we know they're rebuilding. Close look inside the defensive numbers. They're 21st in field goal shooting defense, over 46%. Look what happened the very last game before the All-Star break. They lost 108-76 to Atlanta. Don't forget, that game was at home in Orlando. One of the players said after the game, hey, we were down. We were definitely down. Yeah, no kidding. They were down and out. Injuries all season long. We just found out that Turkoglu was suspended for 20 games, so you combine that with the injuries. I can't see how this team is going to be up to go out there and play, and they've kind of given us a preview coming into the All-Star break. 1-13 straight up, 2-12 against the spread. And if you want to look at teams that give up on the season, they often give up on defense too. And the Orlando Magic is on a 16-7-1 run over the total. Those are trends that I wouldn't be surprised to continue. Speaking of trends, the Thunder, we saw them lose before the break. Well, when they lose a game, they're actually very good coming back, 70-34 against the spread. They're also very good at home, 23-10 against the spread, despite that bad game against Miami. The Knicks, when they lose a game, they're 18-7-1 against the spread the next game. And the Washington Wizards quietly getting healthy and playing very well when they face a team with a winning record, 27-1 against the spread. Okay, Jeff, March Madness is coming up. Handicappers who look at college basketball say, well, that's the time when guards shine. And it used to be the reverse was true for the NBA. It used to be the big man's game, as Pat Riley talked about. But I wonder, is that changing? Do you think the NBA is more guard-oriented today than in the past?
Definitely, and it was proven last October when the NBA on its All-Star ballot no longer put centers as an option. Now the fans pick 3 front court players instead of 2 forwards and a center. Obviously, it's a more guard-driven league now, and we don't have the dominant big men as we used to have. We used to have most teams had a dominant center, 2 forwards, 2 guards. Now not many are like that anymore, and that's probably, I'm not sure the reason. I'm not sure what happened there, but maybe the 3-point shot. But right now, it's definitely a guard-driven league, and the proof is that you can't even vote for a center on the NBA All-Star ballot, John.
Yeah, I remember back in 2008 when the Celtics won the title and got to the finals in 2010. Not a great rebounding team. Miami last couple of years, including their title year last year, was very poor in the rebounding categories. And speaking of teams that have trouble rebounding and may make the playoffs, here's another bet that just came out that's in Las Vegas. Will the LA Lakers make the playoffs? The no is minus 200. Yes is plus 175. Do you have an opinion on that one?
I think it should be minus 1,000, especially after they're blown out by the Clippers on Thursday. I don't see the Lakers making the playoffs. They're still mathematically possible, but I just don't see it right now.
So was that a best bet for the show?
My free play this weekend, yeah. My free play is the Lakers will not make the playoffs.
Minus 200. It's still out there right now. Take a look at some of the games where the schedule maker has hurt some teams. The New York Knicks are going to be playing 10 of the next 15 games on the road. The Atlanta Hawks have a 6-game road trip coming up soon. The Celtics coming out of the break, a horrible stretch, 9 of 11 on the road, 15 of 22 away, and that includes a West Coast string. And the Kings, the Sacramento Kings, are winding up a stretch, playing 13 of 16 on the road. All right, Jeff, trivia time. Who hit the NBA's first three-pointer?
I remember what happened. It was Chris Ford of the Boston Celtics, 1979. Those are the days when they had maybe 3 or 4 three-point shots made per game. Now it's like a regular part of the game. But it was Chris Ford.
You are absolutely right. Mustache Chris Ford in the backcourt. Okay, that wraps it up from here. Jeff, tell everybody about that red-hot streak you've been on and how people can get aboard this very special offer.
Well, since February 4th, and the NBA and college combined, 39, 16-2, 71%. And you can play the next 4 months. You're going to be played through June, NBA and college basketball, for just $49. That will include, I think earlier said game of the year, you're going to get 2 college games of the month on Saturday, 2 college conference games of the month. And all this is just a total of just $49. All you can do is call L.V.S.S. at 1-866-575-8916, 1-866-575-8916. NBA college through June, $49. 1-866-575-8916.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll be back next Friday with another NBA LVSS report. And, Jeff, do you think maybe they'll be cashing that? No? The Lakers will be eliminated by then? Is that possible?
Yes, and you better get it right now because on Monday it could be like minus 600.
That's true. All right. Good luck with the games, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Good luck.